Hello and welcome, you're watching Overdrive. Now the C segment in India has been a constantly evolving segment, and that's primarily due to the pressure brought on by the highly successful compact sedans launched recently. This is also a very important segment for manufacturers, which kind of explains why Maruti went and built an all-new car as a replacement for the SX4. Well, there is one manufacturer who just hasn't shown the kind of inclination towards this segment until now. And that manufacturer is Toyota. Now what's strange is that Toyota's Japanese counterpart Honda launched its C-segment sedan in India way back in the late 90s, and that went on to become a massive success. What's even stranger is that Toyota does have a C-segment sedan for the Southeast Asian markets, the Toyota Vios. Now, interestingly, the Vios doesn't just outsell the Honda City in markets like Malaysia, it is in fact the highest selling non-national car in the country. So why has Toyota not brought the Vios to India? Well, recently, the Vios was caught testing on Indian soil, so we thought we'd take a trip to Malaysia, get ourselves a Toyota Vios, and find out if it can really take the fight to the likes of the Honda City and the other C-segment cars. The Vios brings forward Toyota's new design philosophy, as you've seen with the new Corolla. Pleasing dimensions, sharper lines, wraparound headlights and taillights, lots of chrome, and while it is a ginormous improvement over the previous generation of the Vios, and in my opinion much better looking than the Etios as well, it still fails to draw the same fondness as the new Honda City or the Verna does. This third generation Vios, codenamed the XP150, is almost identical to the Honda City in terms of dimensions, apart from the ground clearance, which stands at 147 mm, 18 mm less than the City. The boot space too is almost identical to the City at a shade over 500 litres. The middle and the top end variants get a few additions over the base variant that you see here, such as projector headlamps, chrome garnishes, fog lamps, scuff plates, etc. Toyota might also decide to add daytime running lights for India, which in Malaysia are optional. Apart from the standard exteriors, Toyota also have a TRD Sportivo kit for the Vios, and if the Etios Liva got it, you can expect it to be introduced at a later stage in India too. This of course is the base J variant, which does not have a lot of features, but what you can expect is when it is launched in India, you'll have the mid E variant and the top end G variant with a lot more features. And more features is what the Vios will require if it intends to succeed in this segment. The higher variants get steering mounted controls, climate control and keyless ignition. You can expect Toyota to pull the stops with the India-sourced infotainment system, which should feature Bluetooth functionality and possibly even a rear parking camera screen and internet connectivity. Unlike earlier models of the Vios and the Indian Etios, the instrument cluster is back where it belongs, behind the steering wheel. The leather upholstery and the big stitches look very premium and will certainly find the fancy of Indians. At the back, the Vios misses out on rear AC vents, where you'll find this singular cup or bottle holder. The space at the back and the seating comfort is nothing out of the ordinary. My guess, it'll work just fine for India. Now let's talk engines. In Malaysia, the Toyota Vios gets a 1.5-litre VVTi petrol engine. Now Toyota already has a 1.5-litre petrol engine for India that's doing duty on the Etios sedan, and you'd imagine that it would make commercial sense for Toyota to continue with that engine. But let's put aside commercial viability for a moment. Consider this. The Etios' 1.5-litre engine makes a diminutive 90 PS of max power. The Vios is about 100 kgs heavier than the Etios, and Honda's iVTEC engine in the City makes an impressive 120 PS of max power. So my money is definitely on Toyota's 1.5-litre VVTi petrol engine making it to India. And of course, alongside it you can expect them to persist with the frugal 1.4-litre diesel engine from the Etios. This car of course comes with the option of a 4-speed automatic ECT gearbox, but the India car, at least at launch, will have the 5-speed manual. But this segment does have its predilections towards automatics, so the 4-speed ECT can be expected at a later stage. The ECT automatic in the Vios does feel much more tactile than the CVT that we get in India with the Honda City, and that should work to Toyota's advantage. Now if safety is one of your primary concerns, as it should be, Toyota claims that the ace body structure that the Vios is composed of is one of the safest in the segment. In Malaysia, even the base unspec'd variant comes with 2 airbags, ABS and ESPS standard, and if that's true for India as well, it will be quite a strong statement by Toyota. Besides this, the Vios comes with all disc brakes as standard, an advantage over the Honda City's rear drums.
Now for 2015, the Vios received upgrades keeping in mind the necessities and the requirements of the Asian markets. So when it does come to India, I don't really expect the underpinnings to change too much. Now you might get suspension with a different travel and different spring rates that might also lead to a higher ground clearance. You might find higher profile tires as well, and all this only to improve the ride quality to deal with our roads a little bit better. But apart from that, I don't see too many alterations that could lead to changing the driving dynamics of the Vios too much. The roads here in Malaysia are far superior to what we have back in our country, so I can't really tell you much about the ride quality except for so far it's been quite plush and pliant, but you'll just have to wait for our India road test verdict when it does come to India. This should work significantly to its advantage considering that this is a segment that has a very high percentage of chauffeur-driven cars, and of course a lot of cars in this segment, including the segment leaders, just haven't been able to get the ride quality right, including the City and the Verna. Now when I speak of handling, of course this car isn't meant to react to stimulus the way a sports car does, but there are two things that you need to pay attention to. One of course is the weight of the steering wheel, which means it has to give enough and accurate feedback from the tires. The other thing is of course the high speed stability or the steering sensitivity at higher speeds. And I think on both counts, the Vios manages to suitably impress.
Vios is a Latin term meaning to move forward, and the Vios is what Toyota need to do exactly that. Considering it's going to find itself in the midst of some very healthy competition, it's the packaging that's going to be key for Toyota. It might not be the best looking car or the most fun to drive in the segment, but with Toyota's brand reach and after-sales perception, the Vios has the stage set for itself if it is price positioned well. And speaking of price,
the Vios over here costs about 75,000 Malaysian ringgit, which is the equivalent of 13 lakh rupees for the base variant. Now, with local assembly and manufacturing in India, the Vios should be competitively priced, so about 8 to 10 lakhs should be a safe bet. The only question is, how long do you have to wait for it?